Hi, everyone, and welcome back to English Over Tea Listen and Speak. I'm Anna, and I've got my Earl Grey ready. It's steaming, it's perfect, and I am so ready to dive into some English.
And I'm Dan. I don't have tea today. I have a very large, very dark coffee because, wow, I had a morning. A total grammar fail morning, Anna.
Oh no, Dan, what happened? Should I say, did you have a bad morning or have you had a bad morning?
See, that's exactly it. That is the mystery of the day. So, okay, listen to this. This morning, my roommate looked at me. I was clearly looking for something, and he asked, "Did you lose your keys?" And I said, "Yes, I've lost them." And then he just stood there. He didn't help. I realized later that because I used "I have lost," I was focusing on the fact that I don't have them now, but he was stuck on the "did" part from his question. It turned into this whole who's on first comedy routine.
That is actually the perfect way to start today's topic. We are talking about the big two that confuse almost everyone: I did versus I have done. Or if we want to be fancy and use the grammar names, the past simple and the present perfect.
Yeah, those names. Present perfect always sounds so, I don't know, elite. Like it's a tense that wears a tuxedo. But really, it's just about how we see time.
Exactly. So let's break it down for our listeners. Break it down means to explain something complicated in smaller, simpler parts so it's easier to understand. Usage: the teacher broke down the math problem for the students. I did is for a finished action at a specific time. It's over, done, bye bye.
Right, like I watched a movie last night. Last night is a finished time. It's not happening anymore. I'm not in the theater. I'm here, drinking coffee, regretting my life choices.
Exactly. But I have done that's different. It's like a bridge. It connects the past to right now. One of the biggest differences is that I have done usually has a result in the present.
Like my keys. If I say I've lost my keys, the result is I'm standing outside my door looking like an idiot because I can't get in now. The losing happened in the past, but the lostness is still happening right this second.
Precisely. If you said, I lost my keys last week, but I found them, that's past simple. The problem is over. It doesn't affect your present anymore.
Okay, so let me see if I've got this. If I mention a specific time, like yesterday or at 2 p.m., I almost always have to use "I did."
Spot on. Time markers are like the past simple's best friends. Yesterday, last week, in 2022, 2 hours ago. If you see those, you reach for did. You can't say, I have been to the office yesterday. That's a big no no in English.
I've heard people do that though. It sounds so painful once you know the rule. It's like wearing socks with sandals.
It really is. But here's where it gets a little tricky. And this is what I love about English. Sometimes it's about how the speaker sees the time.
Oh boy, here we go. The speaker's perspective. Sounds like philosophy class.
It's simpler than that. Think about today. Is today finished?
Well, I'm still breathing and talking to you, so I hope not.
Right. So, because today is an unfinished time, we often use the present perfect. You could say, I've had 3 coffees today. Because the day isn't over, you might even have a fourth.
Don't tempt me, Anna. My heart is already racing. But wait, I've heard people say, I didn't have coffee today. Is that wrong?
Not necessarily. If it's the end of the day, maybe you're brushing your teeth and getting ready for bed, you might say, I didn't have a coffee today. At that point, you view today as a finished period of time. You're done. The coffee window is closed.
Ah, so it's about whether the door to that time is still open or if it's slammed shut.
That's a great way to put it. Slammed shut equals I did, door still open equals I have done.
I like that. I'm going to keep that in mind.
Keep that in mind means to remember a piece of information for the future. Usage, keep in mind that the office closes at 5 p.m.
So if I'm talking about my life, which hopefully is an open door, and I say I visited Paris, that's because my life is still happening?
Exactly. You're talking about an experience. You aren't saying when you went, just that it's something you've done in your life so far.
But if I say I visited Paris in 2010, I have to use did because 2010 is definitely slammed shut.
You've got it. You are a natural, Dan.
I'm trying. It's just sometimes when I'm talking fast, I feel like I just choose one and hope for the best.
And honestly, that's okay too. In some situations, especially in American English, people use them interchangeably. If I ask, did you finish the report or have you finished the report, the meaning is basically the same.
That's a relief. I was worried the grammar police would come for my coffee.
No, we're all friends here. But understanding the difference helps you be more precise. It helps people understand if you're talking about a finished story or something that's still relevant right now.
Like, if I say I've lived here for 5 years, it means I still live here.
Yes, but if you say, I lived there for 5 years, then
I've moved out. I'm gone. The door is slammed.
exactly. You're getting the hang of this. Let's look at some more specific examples of how these show up in daily life.
So, Anna, I was thinking about what you said, about the result in the present. It actually reminded me of this morning. I was trying to be all helpful, right? I told my roommate I've washed the dishes because I wanted him to see the clean kitchen.
And let me guess, he didn't care.
Exactly. He just looked at me and said, "Okay, Dan, do you want a medal?" But the point is, I used I have washed because the result, the clean dishes, is what mattered right then. If I had said I washed them at 7 a.m., I'm just giving him a history lesson he didn't ask for.
That's a perfect example. It's all about why you're saying it. If the result is the news, use have done. I've lost my keys. The important part isn't when you lost them, it's that you don't have them right now.
Oh, like that example of the broken arm. I read that somewhere. If you say she has broken her arm, it means the arm is still in a cast, right?
Exactly. It's still injured. But if you say she broke her arm, it's just a fact about the past. Her arm is probably fine now. It's like the past stays in the past with did, but it walks into the room with you when you use have done.
That's a bit spooky, Anna. Grammar ghosts. But wait, let's get a handle on this experience thing you mentioned earlier. Get a handle on means to gain an understanding of something or to find a way to deal with a problem. Usage. I'm finally starting to get a handle on how this new software works. So, Anna, if I ask you, have you ever been to Japan? I'm asking about your whole life, right?
Yes, because my life is still happening. The time period is open. I could say, yes, I've been there. But if you ask, did you go to Japan last year? Well, last year is a closed box, so I'd say yes, I went there in 2018.
I actually have a funny story about that. I once tried to impress a girl by saying, I have climbed Mount Everest.
Dan, you did not.
Well, okay, I didn't, but she asked, "Oh wow, when did you do that?" And I panicked. I said, "I have done it in 2015." She immediately knew I was lying because of the grammar.
The grammar police caught you again. You can't use have done with a specific year like 2015. You should have said, I climbed it in 2015. Though, maybe don't lie about climbing mountains next time.
Lesson learned. But it's interesting because some words just scream present perfect, like ever or never.
Oh, absolutely. Have you ever seen the Northern Lights? Or I have never tried sushi. These are all about experiences where the specific time just doesn't matter. Even big things for all of humanity, like man has walked on the moon. We don't need to say the date every time. The fact that we did it is the big news.
That makes sense. It's like keeping everyone in the loop about what's happened in the world. In the loop means to be kept informed about a specific situation or to be part of a group that has all the information. Please keep me in the loop regarding the progress of the project. But okay, let's talk about those tricky words, just, already, and yet. I feel like I hear those constantly with have done.
You do. They're like the present perfect's favorite accessories. I've just finished my coffee means it happened seconds ago, and the result is, well, an empty cup and a very awake Anna.
And already is for things that happened sooner than we expected, right? Like, I've already finished the report.
Exactly. And yet is the one we use for questions and negatives. Have you finished the report yet? Or I haven't finished it yet. It implies that we expect it to happen soon.
Right, right. So, if I say I didn't finish it yet, is that wrong?
In British English, yes, it sounds a bit off. You really need I haven't finished it yet. But like we mentioned before, in American English, you might hear people use the past simple there. But if you want to be safe and clear, stick to the present perfect for yet.
Okay, let me try a quick scenario. If I'm at a party, which let's be honest, rarely happens, and I see a cool looking snack and I ask my friend, have you tried this?
Perfect. You're asking about their experience at the party so far.
But then if I ask, did you like it?
See, you switched. You used did because the trying part is now a finished event in the past for them. Even if they just swallowed it 1 second ago, the act of tasting it is over.
This is like a mental workout, Anna. My brain it's definitely doing the work today.
You're doing great. It's all about training your brain to see if that time door is open or closed. If you can see the results right in front of you, like a clean room or a broken leg, that door is wide open.
I think I'm starting to see the patterns. It's like I did is a storybook that's finished and on the shelf. I have done is the news report that's happening right now.
I love that. That is a fantastic way to break it down for everyone. Speaking of happening right now, we should probably talk about what happens when an action started in the past but is still going on.
You know, Anna, speaking of things that are still happening, I actually had a bit of a awkward moment with my neighbor yesterday. He's this nice older man, Mr. Henderson. He asked me how things were going, and I said, "Oh, I lived in this apartment for 3 years." And he looked so genuinely sad. He said, "Oh, Dan, we'll miss having you around. Where are you moving?"
Oh no, Dan, you did it again. You used the past simple lived, so he thought your time here was finished and you were packing your bags right then.
Exactly. I had to quickly explain that I'm not going anywhere. I should have said I have lived here for 3 years, right?
Precisely. This is such a huge point for our listeners. We use the present perfect, that I have done form, to talk about something that started in the past but is still true now. If you say, I've lived in Brighton for 8 years, it means you moved there 8 years ago and you are still eating your breakfast in Brighton today.
But if I say I lived in New Zealand for 4 years, I'm basically saying I'm done with New Zealand. Great place, but I don't live there anymore.
Exactly. It's like the marriage example from the BBC. If you say they've been married for 5 years, you're probably going to their anniversary party on Sunday. But if you say they were married for 5 years, well, don't buy a gift. They probably got divorced last year.
Man, one little have changes the whole story. It's a lot to take in. Take in means to completely understand or absorb a large amount of new information. Usage. The presentation was very long and there was a lot of data to take in. But wait, I've also heard people say, I have been living here. Is that the same thing?
Oh, now we're getting into the I have been doing territory, the present perfect continuous. It's very similar to I have done, but we use it when we want to emphasize that the action is continuous and started in the past and is still happening right now. Like, I've been doing my homework for 30 minutes. It means you started 30 minutes ago and your pen is still moving.
So, is there a reason to choose I have been doing over I have done? Or is it just to sound, I don't know, busier?
Sometimes, but a really cool rule to remember is that we often use the continuous form for temporary situations. For example, if you say, I've been living in Paris for the last month, it sounds like you're just visiting or there for a short time.
Ah, but if I say I have lived in Paris, it sounds more like this is my home. I'm a permanent Parisian now. Pass the baguette.
Exactly. I have lived feels more permanent. And there's another difference too. I have done is often used for a regular action that happens over a period of time, but it's not necessarily one long continuous move. Like, I have done my homework at the library every day for the past month.
Okay, so that's a repeated habit. But if I'm actually at the library right now and I've been there since 9 a.m., I'd say I've been doing my homework for 2 hours.
Spot on, Dan. You're really starting to get the hang of it.
Get the hang of it means to learn how to do something, especially something that requires skill or practice. Usage. Driving a manual car was hard at first, but I'm finally getting the hang of it. I'm trying. It's just, there's so many layers. It's like a grammar onion. So let me see if I can get us on the same page with a little summary of this part. On the same page means to have the same understanding or to be in agreement with someone else. Usage. Before we start the meeting, I want to make sure we are all on the same page regarding the budget. If I'm talking about my life and I want to say how long I've had a job or lived in a city and I'm still there, I use I have lived or I have worked.
Yes.
But if I moved or quit that job 5 years ago, I just use the past simple. I worked there or I lived there.
Perfect. And if you want to sound like you're in the middle of a temporary project, like I've been studying English for 2 hours today, you use that been doing form.
Got it. It's funny because today keeps coming back as a key word. Like we said earlier, if the day isn't over, you can use the present perfect because the time box is still open. I could say, I have studied a lot for this test, meaning all the work I've put in up until this very second.
Exactly. It shows you're ready now, whereas saying, I studied for the test last night is just a report about what you did before you went to sleep.
It's all about that bridge to the present. I'm starting to see that bridge everywhere now, Anna. It's like I have grammar vision.
That's the best kind of vision to have. It really helps you express yourself more clearly. Like if you're talking to a boss, saying, I have finished the report sounds so much more satisfying than just saying, I finished it. It tells them, look, it's ready for you now.
Total manager pleaser move. I love it. But wait, we should probably talk about one more thing before we move on. Move on means to stop doing or talking about one thing and start doing or talking about something else. What happens when we have two things that happened in the past, like I did my homework before I saw you? Does that change things?
Ooh, you're curious about the past perfect. That's when we talk about a point in the past and then something that happened before that point.
Like, when I saw you this morning, I had already done my homework.
Exactly. But let's not go down a rabbit hole with that one just yet.
Go down a rabbit hole means to become so interested in or focused on a subject that you keep discovering more and more about it, often getting distracted from your original goal. Usage. I only meant to look up one fact on Wikipedia, but I ended up going down a rabbit hole for 3 hours.
For today, let's stick to our big two and really master that difference between I did and I have done. I want to make sure we talk about the most common mistakes people make so our listeners can avoid them. All right, Dan, we've covered a lot of ground today. I think it's time we really cut to the chase and help our listeners avoid those facepalm moments.
Oh, I've had plenty of those facepalm moments today. But you're right. Let's talk about the big mistakes. I see this one all the time. Even I almost said it earlier. I have seen that movie yesterday.
Exactly. That is a classic no-no. You cannot, I repeat, cannot mix have done with a specific time marker like yesterday, last week, or in 2020. If you mention when it happened, the time door is locked and the key is thrown away. You must use I did.
So I saw that movie yesterday is the only way to go. It's like a strict law. If the time is specific and finished, have has to leave the building.
Right. Think of it as a rule of thumb. Here is a great rule of thumb. If you say when, use the past simple. If you don't say when, use the present perfect. This works about 80% of the time, which is a pretty good starting point for any learner.
80%. I like those odds. But what about those words that love the present perfect? You mentioned just already and yet earlier.
Yes, they are huge clues. Use just for something that happened 2 seconds ago, like I've just finished my tea. Use already when something happened sooner than people expected, like I've already done the dishes. And yet is for those things you're still waiting for. I haven't eaten lunch yet.
And ever and never for life experiences. Like, have you ever tried skydiving?
Exactly. You aren't asking if they did it last Tuesday. You're asking about their whole life up until this moment.
Okay, I think I'm finally starting to wrap my head around this. It's all about whether the action is isolated in the past or if it has a result that is still sitting here on the table with us right now.
You've got it. Like the broken arm example. She has broken her arm means she's probably wearing a cast right now. She broke her arm means it's just a story from the past and she's likely fine now.
It's actually quite useful once you stop panicking about the grammar terms. It helps you tell a better story. If I want to tell you about my morning, I'll use did. If I want to tell you why I'm late or why I'm happy now, I'll use have done.
Precisely. So let's do a quick recap for everyone listening over their tea. Number 1, past simple. I did. Use it for finished actions at a specific time. Yesterday, last night, 2010. The action is over and has no connection to the present. Number 2, present perfect. I have done. Use it for actions that happened at an unspecified time. Use it when there's a result in the present, like I've lost my keys. I don't have them now. Number 3, life experiences. Use I have been or I have done when you don't say exactly when. Number 4, unfinished time. Use have done with words like today, this week, or this year, because the time period isn't over yet.
That is a lot of great info, Anna. I feel like my brain has grown a little bit today.
I'm glad. And to all our listeners, don't worry if you still make mistakes. Even native speakers, especially in the US, sometimes use these interchangeably in casual speech. The most important thing is that you keep practicing and keep speaking.
Yeah, don't let the fear of getting it wrong stop you from talking. People will still understand you 99% of the time.
Exactly. Practice makes, well, not perfect, but it definitely makes you more confident. We want to hear from you. In the comments or via email, try to write 2 sentences, one using I did and one using I have done. Tell us about your day or a cool experience you've had.
I'll be reading them. Maybe I can learn some more mountain climbing stories to, borrow.
Dan, no more fake Everest stories. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us today on English Over Tea. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave us a review. It really helps the show grow.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Keep practicing, keep drinking your tea or coffee, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone. Happy learning.
Bye. Now, about that coffee, I think I need another one.